the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, defined. So what is GDPR? GDPR is a European law that governs what companies and organisations are allowed to do with your personal data. It was introduced because the previous Data Protection Act was created back in the 90s, before we all had smartphones that are capable of collecting massive amounts of sensitive information about us. And companies like Google and Facebook since then have been able to collect this data and profit from its use, mostly by engaging in targeted marketing or selling it to third parties so that they can do the same. A data breach is the intentional or unintentional release of secure or private or confidential information to an untrusted environment. Data breaches are also known as unintentional information disclosure, data leak, information leakage, or data spill. Personal data is defined as any piece of information that can be used either on its own or with another piece of information to determine the identity of an individual. Storage of personal data needs to be justified, so if a good reason for having it can't be provided, it could mean facing tough financial penalties. Failure to comply with GDPR can cost a business up to 4% of its annual turnover, or up to 20 million euros, and it's worth remembering that it's whichever is highest. But there are two tiers of the penalty. The lower tier is either a fine of 2% of annual turnover or 10 million euros, again, whichever is highest. And the level of penalty is decided by the governing body of the country where the organisation is registered. For us in the UK, that's the ICO, Information Commissioner's Office.